What does Elon Musk explicitly hope to accomplish with this mission, and how will it affect SpaceX's future exploration? SpaceX plans to launch its new Polaris Dawn mission no earlier than March 2023 with a specialized 4-person crew led by astronaut and billionaire Jared Isaacman met the team and will attempt to achieve some ambitious goals defining SpaceX's mission to make it to Mars. Elon Musk has been more motivated to forward the plans to build a human settlement on Mars with SpaceX's recent success in 2020. We also have all the information you require concerning this most recent operation. Join us as we investigate Elon Musk's goals for the Polaris Dawn mission. Welcome back to another exciting video from Informative Scoop. Today's video is about Elon Musk revealed some details around SpaceX's Polaris Dawn mission. Before we start the video, please subscribe and press the bell icon. Setting new records. Launched from Launch Complex 3-9 at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida, the Polaris Dawn crew on board the Falcon 9 rocket will stay in orbit for up to 5 days. By flying higher than any private, this mission will test the Falcon 9's ultimate performance. Additionally, the Gemini 11 is attempting to fly at its highest altitude in an Earth orbit. The objective is to orbit over regions of the Van Allen radiation belt, where the crew will conduct studies to understand better how space travel and radiation affect human health. The study will focus on neuroocular syndrome, one of the health hazards associated with long-duration space travel. Polaris Dawn will work with several academic institutions throughout the mission, including the U.S. Air Force Academy, the Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, the Johns Hopkins University Applied Physics Laboratory, and the University of Colorado. A crew member noticed the trash ahead and immediately said there was a ton of new construction. The team will need to strengthen the crew of Dragon spacecraft's life support system to complete the mission. The staff is also anticipated to monitor and quantify Venice gas using ultrasound and conduct boil to aid studies on the prevalence of decompression illness in humans. They will collect samples for long-term analysis while they are in orbit. The crew will carry out the first commercial spacewalk with SpaceX design, an additional vehicular activity, while in orbit about 700 kilometers above the planet. An improvement over the current intravehicular spacesuit testing. More practice suits for more extended missions will be made possible by the new EVA suit's usefulness. In a moment, I'll comment on this and say that the advancement of spacesuits will help us learn, and we'll be able to build on this when we travel to the moon and eventually go to. Many spacesuits will be needed to construct a human residence on Mars, and the outcome of the spacewalk will help establish how scalable the cases can be. The Polaris Dawn crew will be the first team to test the Starlink laser-based communication system in Spain. Future satellite communication systems for missions to Mars and beyond will benefit from the data generated by this experiment, as they did on earlier space missions, when they raised $250 million for the nonprofit organization. The crew wants to raise funds for St. Jude Children's Hospital during their time in space. The crew's biographies. The crew for the Polaris mission was chosen for their aptitude for spaceflight and enthusiasm for deepening humanity's understanding of the universe. The team has participated in several training initiatives, including specialist training on spacewalks and high radiation, as well as high-performance jet training for Real Air Venture Oshkosh in July 2022. The crew said in a statement that throughout the inspiration for the journey, they became closer and built a foundation of trust that they can build upon as they take on the challenges of this mission and try to reach new heights in their efforts to advance space exploration. Captain Jared Isaacman. I met the crew. Jared will be in charge. Isaac had a meeting with Shift 4's CEO. He is a skilled pilot with over 6,000 flying hours under his belt and has ratings in experimental and ex-military aircraft thanks to his commercial endeavors. He is also a billionaire. Since receiving his pilot's license in 2005, he has participated in over 1,000 air shows for philanthropic causes. He also completes 2 speed-around-the-world flights to generate funds and exposure for organizations like the Make-A-Wish Foundation. He co-founded Draken International in 2011, growing it into the most significant private air force with more than 100 fighter jets used to train pilots from the leading U.S. military branches. During the last mission, he was the captain. Fourth Inspiration, the first entirely civilian mission, launched into Earth's orbit in September 2021, assisted in raising $250 million for Memphis St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. The Isaacmen funded the earlier Inspiration for the expedition and 2 other space missions, including the upcoming Polaris Dawn. In an exclusive interview with the Washington Post, he stated that he would continue to be interested in space exploration if it helped advance the larger goals of making space accessible to all people and expanding the human race to other planets, and ideally contribute to the goals we're working to achieve back on Earth. Pilot Scott Podit. Lieutenant Colonel Scott Kid Petit was a member of the U.S. Air Force. When he was an Air Force officer, he played a variety of jobs, including the commander of the 64th Aggressor Squadron, U.S. Air Force Weapons School, and SAF Thunderbird 4 display pilot for operation testing and assessment and a flight examiner. He has more than 3,200 flying hours under his belt and has flown the F-4, F-16, T-38, T-37, and Alpha Jet. In addition, Petit has 400 combat hours under his belt from his time serving in the Joint Guardian Operations, North Watch, Freedom Sentinel, Southern Watch, and Resolute. He has participated in 15 Ironman World Championships since 2000 and is an outstanding triathlete and collegiate runner with a spirit of competition. As the pilot, Petit joins the Polaris Dawn mission. He has known Isaac Met for a very long time. While Isaac Met still ran it, he was the Vice President of Strategy at Shift 4 and the Director of Business Development at Dragon International. Polaris Dawn Mission Specialist Sarah Gillies. The fourth crew member, Sarah Gillies, will serve as the mission specialist. As the principal space operations engineer at SpaceX, she oversees the organization's astronaut development program. She is in charge of creating mission-specific training programs and curricula for NASA and commercial astronauts that fly on the Dragon spacecraft. She began her training as a classical singer even as a young child. However, she decided to change her career path after her high school advisor and former NASA astronaut Joe Tanner suggested that she pursue a career in aerospace engineering. She started studying engineering and dancing at the University of Colorado in 2015 after receiving support from her tutor. Before beginning astronaut training in earnest, Sarah worked as a SpaceX intern on the interior of the Dragon spacecraft. She has worked for SpaceX and directly trained astronauts for the Inspiration 4 mission and Demo 2 and Crew 1 tasks. Additionally, Sarah has worked as a navigation officer to support operations to and from the International Space Station, including cargo resupply missions. For Dragon's human space flight, she serves as the crew communicator. Adventurous Sarah spends her free time climbing, hiking, and camping in the wilderness. Mission specialist and medical officer Anna Menon. Lead space operations engineer Anna Menon is employed by SpaceX. She oversees crew operations development and acts as both a missions director and crew communicator. She has supported the crew communicator and operator roles at SpaceX while also leading the introduction of the crew skills for the Dragon. Ann has participated in various Dragon missions, such as Demo 2, and has assisted in developing crucial operating solutions to problems such as cabin depression. Her teacher, Allison Smith, the black daughter of Michael J. Smith, the Space Shuttle Challenger's pilot, took her on a school trip to NASA, which ignited her interest in space travel. She has 7 years of experience working as a biomedical flight controller at NASA for the International Space Station, which she uses as the crew's medical officer. She graduated from Texas Christian University with a bachelor's degree in mathematics and Spanish, and she then earned a master's degree in biomedical engineering from Duke University. She served in this capacity for NASA Expeditions 47 and 48, supporting the space station personnel and assisting in integrating engineering and medical services from foreign partners. She oversaw the organization and performance of every essential biological operation. She used her engineering expertise for charitable purposes by volunteering with Engineers Without Borders and Engineering World Health Organizations. She helped the World Health Organization with its water and sanitation response following the 2015 earthquake in Nepal. In addition to her love of space travel, Min enjoys salsa dancing, hiking, flying, and tiny planes in her spare time. She also makes time for her family every single day. The Polaris Dawn mission's success will have a significant impact. The study they carry out throughout their 5-day stay in orbit will help advance Mars settlement and galaxy-wide planet exploration. That's all for today. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more exciting content.